The PowerPoint presentation will help to summarize what we have learned up to now. Uh, at the beginning, sometimes you may be able to recall, I have mentioned that international human resource management is discussion about the context of global context or multinational. Uh, to get a good international human resource management knowledge, you need to have good knowledge about cross-cultural management, and also you need to have a very good knowledge about comparative HR and uh, industrial relation systems. Actually, I didn't touch on that particular part, but very percent as a percentage, it's may around 10%. Both subjects are 20% included into international human resource management. But however, cross-cultural management, you already learn with the organizational behavior. You will recall, you may able to recall about the Great Hofstede model, Globe model, and etc. Those are the things we should have to be discussed under the cross-cultural management. And also we discuss what is culture, what are the components of the culture and everything. Therefore, I didn't pay more attention about cross-cultural management. Then let me follow this particular PowerPoint presentation to discuss about the revise or to revise what we have learned last, I don't know exactly how many sessions I have been conducted, around 10 or 9 sessions I have been completed. What are the learning objectives? Know the basic functions of human resource management. Already, I think you learn about the domestic human resource management. In that particular domestic human resource management, including human resource planning, staffing including recruitment, selection, placement, performance management, training and development, compensation, industrial relations, grievance management, and etc. Okay. These all functions are included into international human resource management too. Then define international human resource management. Then how we can be defined international human resource management? We will discuss later. Actually, already we have discussed what is international human resource management. But today also, again, we are going to be touch or discuss about what is international human resource management. Actually, when we are discussing about the international human resource management, we need to pay our attention on 3 dimensions. One, actually, international human resource management having the broad human resource activities from uh, recruiting, uh, using those people uh, or using those employees to our business activities. Basically, we can be discuss these procurement, allocation, and utilization under the 6 HR activities just before I mentioned. What are the 6 HR activities? Human resource planning, staffing, performance management, training and development, compensation, and industrial relations. Then IHRM, so International Human Resource Management, having another dimension, that is it is more HRM activities than the one particular local or domestic country, because we need to discuss about 3 types of the countries: host country, home country, and other country or third countries. You already learned about host country nationals, parent country nationals, and third country nationals. You will recall those two, 3 types of the countries. Actually, why? Therefore, we need to learn about the culture of those countries, cross-cultural management, because we need to hire people from different countries. Those people are having different cultures. Then we should have to have a good understanding about their cultural values and attitudes, etc. Then we do a good management on those people. Okay. understand the difference between international and domestic human resource management. Already, I think you may be able to recall what we have learned under these differences between domestic and international HRM. We have discussed international human resource management is having more HR activities, and that human resource managers in the international or global business need to very they should have to have a very broad perspective, and also they should have to be HR managers. International human resource managers need more involvement in employees' personal lives, and also we will think about the mixture of the employees, and also we need to think about risk exposure about those expected people, and also we need to concern about the external influences on international human resource management from the uh, external from the external factors of those countries, like that. Then third, know the types of workers used by multinational. Already we have discussed that one. There are three type of the basically three uh, ways to get the people to work in our organizations. Actually, expatriate or the parent country nationals, or we call that particular approach as a, what we call that expatriate approach when we are going to be hire a person from the home country. That particular approach we name as what? Hmm? Ethnocentric approach. Can you recall what does mean by ethnocentric approach? Ethnocentric approach, then we call countries. That one is we call what? Hello.
Polycentric.
Polycentric approach. Poly means bahu, means police bahu. Polycentric approach, and then geocentric approach and regiocentric approaches, like that. Then you should have to have good knowledge about what are the advantages of those approaches. Can you share PowerPoint? Okay, yeah. Uh, uh, by hiring by using ethnocentric approach, by using a polycentric approach, by using a geocentric approach, and etc. Okay. Then know what to do, make the expected assignment easier for their female expatriate. Actually, we didn't discuss this one. Actually, when we are going to be hire a female expatriate, there is some kind of the limitations, because we are having some idea females are unable to adapt to adjust to that particular culture, or they are having more family responsibilities, or sometimes we may have some kind of the stereotype ideas about the female, like that. Okay. Understand EHR systems and how they can be useful in international human resource management. Understand the relationship between choice of a multinational strategy and international human resource management. We discussed this one, multinational strategies. We discussed about this particular multinational strategy by using two dimensions, standardizations, or the globalization or whatever, then localizations. Based on this particular standardization of globalization, we can be categorized four type of multinational business, international business, sorry, uh, multinational business, then global business, and transnational business. You can better recall that four ways to develop our multinational business. And human resource management basically deals with the entire relationship of the employee with the organization. Then actually you will understand why we need to consider human as a resource. We are considering human as a resources. They are a human being able to add or create or innovate or new economic value to organizations. All human beings are able to add a new, create economic value to your organization. But it is depending on your management. Right? Already you have known what are the principles of management, planning, staffing, then controlling and organizing and etc. Right? Those are the principles. Then, however, by using those planning, by using that control, by using that organizing, by using that staff, we need to think about how we can be manage human resources to get good outcome. Definitely, all human beings are able to do new things by using mental power and physical power and emotional power. Mental, emotional, and physical power. Therefore, these days we are discussing the emotional intelligence and etc. And also by using physical power, you can be make or made new things by using your skills. Skills depending on what your experiences. As I have mentioned in last week, some people are getting older. They are having repair how the Niluka, what repair canada? Someone is listening to the lectures while they are going to prepare. Okay, then please mute your mic. Otherwise, sometimes we can hear some personal things also. Okay, then human resource management. Let me go back to what I have discussed about how we can be manage the people. Actually, then yes, every human being having some physical power, mental power, or mind power, as well as emotional power. Based on these powers, they can be create or add new economic value to organizations. Therefore, that is depending on management. Even you have been hired most capable person, people to your workplace, but there is a very loose management. You are having a very weak management system, then you never able to get good outcome from the people. You have to think that is not only common or apply for your business organization, even your family or the schools, everywhere, universities, everywhere we can see that if there is a loose management or weak management, you never able to get good outcome. Okay, therefore, you should have to have good planning, staffing, and etc. Recruitment. What does mean by recruitment? Process of identifying and attracting qualified people to apply for vacant positions. Or not only vacant positions, sometimes we can be said that future we are going to be create a new position. At that time also we need to hire people from the outside. Identifying and attracting qualified, not only the qualified people by quantity, quality also there. Therefore, we are saying qualified. That means uh, quality of the people. Quality of the people and quantity of the people. Both you need to be considered when you are going to be recruit the people. There are already you have learned these things under HRM. Selection process of filling vacant positions in the organization. Actually, you can be what when we are conducting selection process, we are trying to collect more information about that prospective employee. Therefore, we are conducting selection. Did you get that one? We are collecting more information about that particular applied person. Or in other words, we can say we are collecting some information about that prospective employee. Because only we have received his CV or whatever, biodata or something, but we need to be check all those information are correct. All those information are very accurate. Anyone can say, anyone can write anything on the paper, but you need to be collect more informations about those aspects. You need to be collected more evidence about those information. While when you are able to collect more information about those people, definitely you can do a good selection. Otherwise, no meaning. If you are going to be hired a person by based on the only CV curriculum vitae, then you never able to understand that person is having good skills and abilities and training and development. We are giving employees the knowledge, skills, and abilities to perform successfully. Already we have learned what does mean training and development. Knowledge, skills, and skills are definitely comes from your experience. Abilities are related with your physical, emotional, and mind-based mind based on mind abilities. Your physical abilities, mental abilities, and emotional abilities. Knowledge is not directly relate with your particular job-related tasks or aspects. Knowledge is very general. You can be used that knowledge within your organization, and also you can be used that particular knowledge outside of the organization. Okay. Then we can be discuss knowledge, two type of the knowledge, tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. Last week I have discussed what does mean by tacit, what does mean by explicit knowledge. Explicit knowledge easily you can be transferred to other person. But tacit knowledge is very difficult to transfer. Sometimes you never able to transfer. Skills, there are two types of these skills, soft skills and hard skills. You better think about your brain. Your brain also having soft skills, a soft component as well as hard component. And abilities, physical abilities, mental abilities, and emotional abilities. Then we will consider, we will try to develop those skills, soft skills, hard skills, or the physical, mental, and emotional abilities, tacit knowledge, or the tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge through the training and development. Performance appraisal, last week we have discussed that one. Actually, performance management is more performance management is including many aspects than the performance appraisal or performance evaluation. Performance management including planning, doing, checking, action, and etc. Performance appraisal, one of the parts of that particular performance management. Compensation, already we have discussed, organizes the entire reward package, including financial rewards, benefits, and job security, allowances, and everything is there. But when we are discussing about the compensation, actually compensation need to satisfy our employees' emotional requirement, physical requirement, as well as mind or mental requirement. Then there is a total compensation package. By paying money, we may able to satisfy our employees' physical needs. By providing job security or some other facilities, we can be satisfied our employees' mind satisfaction, mind requirement. Emotional requirement also we will to consider how we can be manage our employees' emotions to get the good outcome to our organizations. Labor relations, actually I didn't discuss. It's one ongoing relationship between an employer and those employees represented by the labor organization. Actually, labor law is also most important. I think you already learned about Sri Lankan labor law and labor relations under domestic HRM. Actually, as we have discussed before, with all HRM functions, we can be adapted to the international settings. As I have mentioned just before, HR planning or recruitment or performance management, training and development, compensation, industrial relations, this everything you can be applied, you can be used, you can be adapted to the international human resource management. basically, this is most important two things comparing to the domestic HRM of the International Human Resource Management. Must choose a mixture of international labor. First, you will to understand why we need to, what does mean by international business? International business means there's a parent country or the headquarters and also subsidiaries. The subsidiaries A, B, etc. Therefore, we need to be think about uh, international human resource management. Because headquarters is situated in Sri Lanka, the subsidiaries in India or Nepal or whatever, China, etc. Then we have to think about how we can be manage those subsidiaries to get the good outcome through our employees. Then we need to think about international human resource management. But when we are discussing about the international employee, then we can be exchange one employee from the subsidiaries to headquarters or headquarters employees to the subsidiaries, or sometimes they may be able to exchange the employees between subsidiaries, and there are many ways. And also we can be hired the people from our parent country, we can be get the person or employees from the host country, or we can be hired the person from another country that we call third country. Then, however, the based on the nature of the business, we need to be considered how many percentage we need to be used from our parent country, how many employees we need to be hired from the host country, and etc. Then there are many situations are influenced on this particular decision. Sometimes host country economic situation, host country political situation, host country availability of the employees of that particular host country, and sometimes parent country policies of the parent country company. Then if we need to be give more exposure to our parent country employees, then we need to be think about the expected employees more like that. Then, however, this mixture of international employees are there. Not all subsidiaries are managed by parent country nationals. No, definitely you need to be hiring people from that particular country or some other countries with parent country employees. And also, HR managers need to think about adaptation of that particular organization with the that particular host country conditions or local conditions. Sometimes you need to be think to balance between two conditions, parent country conditions and that particular host country conditions. By considering those aspects, you need to be think about the international human resource management. Okay, what I need to say that the adaptation to local conditions depending on basically two things. Do you need to maintain standardization, or do you need to maintain localizations? Standardization means you need to be followed everything, your rules, regulations, corrections, and everything according to the parent country requirement. That is, we call it standardization. That will increase your more uh, how we can say efficiency, because you don't need to develop, you don't need to consider about new ways, new methods to produce or supply that particular service. But however, adaptation or localization is reducing your efficiency, because you need to be considered that particular country's situation, economic, social, or political, and etc. Then based on that, you need to be adapt or adjust or change or differ your product or services based on those requirements. Already we have learned that one before. Extracted, in here generally we can describe or define as an employee from a different country. But basically we are saying expected who is assigned to work in our subsidiary more than 1 year period, basically from our parent country or home country nationals. Home country nationals expected employees from the parent firm's home country. Third country national expected workers who come from neither the host nor home country. In here you can see we can be defined third country national also as an expert who comes from different country. But he is or he or she is not belongs to that particular parent country or the host country who is coming from third country nationals, home country nationals, or the parent country nationals. Or we can say host country nationals. Host country nationals, local workers who come from the host country where the unit is located, where the subsidiaries, where the branches. Then when we hired a person from that particular country, we can be named that person as a host country nationals. And also we have discussed what impact rate. What does it mean by impact? Employees from foreign countries who work in the country where the parent company is located. That means we parent country hired a person from a subsidiary. Very simply. The person who is working in the headquarters or the parent country who is coming from foreign country. Flex patriates, employees who are sent on frequent but short-term internal assignments. Already we have discussed. We can see long-term expatriate and short-term expatriate. Long-term expatriates means who is assigning foreign jobs, foreign employees, foreign positions for more than 1 year. Sometimes maximum 3 years or 4 years. But sometimes we are assigning people for short-term assignments. For example, you may have one particular subsidiary in India, then there is some issues about the production for those machines. Then you have been sent the person to work over there for a three months period or 4 months period. That's flex factories or short-term assignments for the people who is working in parent country. Flex factories. Okay. There are different methods to assign these type of the flex factories. Sometimes you may have seen that some employees are traveling continuously within 1 week period or 2 weeks periods in different countries. Today he may work in India, then next day after tomorrow he is in China or etc. There are different ways to use this kind of flex factories. Actually, multinational must decide whether to use expatriate or home country nationals. That is depending on your nature of your business. Most of the multinational enterprises are using their own expatriate or home country people, home country nationals or parent country nationals for the position of chief executive officer or top positions. And also, you will think about your organizational strategies. How you are going to be achieve your expected goals, what type of strategies you are going to use. And also, what is the preference for that particular vacant position or available position? Do you have any preferences to fill up that particular positions like that? Using expected managers. Why we need to use expected? Actually, when we are unable to find a suitable person from that particular host country, definitely we need to use the expected. However, our expected managers should have to have appropriate skills to work over there. You will think about. We have been discussed what are the factors that we cause to expected failure. Then we have, you can be recalled the skills. Also most important, one of the factor of uh, the that one is cause to the expected failure. Not only that, there are many other factors influence unexpected failure. Some family issues, family adjustment factors. Can you recall those things? You, you will to think about those factors. For example, expatriates or the families is unable to adjust to that particular culture. Or sometimes uh, some other factors also influence on employees' failure, spouse or partner dissatisfaction, or inability to adapt to that particular culture, or difficulties to adapt that family adjustment, and also difficulties to associate with the different management styles, or culture and language difficulties, sometimes skills deficiencies, and some other factors influence on expected behavior. And also you would think about, is that particular expatriate having good intention to get that particular positions? Is that person is having a good willingness to take that particular assignments? And do any laws affect the assignment of expected managers? When we are going to be decide to hire host country managers, then you will think about, do they have the expertise for the future? That means necessary skills, knowledge, and abilities are having for that particular people. Can we recruit them from outside the company? Or we need to hire those people from the outside of the organizations. That means, however, that one is the host country unknown expected failure. What does mean by expected failure? Can you say anyone or define the expected failure? Actually, expected failure is the premature return of the expected. In other words, we home for a 3 years period, but he returned to home country after 1.5 year period, for example. Then definitely you should have to be understood what are the reasons for that. Yeah, what are the reasons for that? Just before I have explained some of the reasons for the expected failure. Difficult to adapt to that particular culture, difficult to adapt to that particular management styles, or sometimes the spouse and partners dissatisfaction, etc. Language difficulties, etc. However, actually, this expected failure and expected other, sometimes even with the expected work 3 and 4 years or stipulated period, but he or she didn't able to contribute expected outcomes or expected performance to the organization. That also expected failure. However, you have to understand these things increase your organizational cost, high cost. Because when you are assigned a expatriate to work in foreign subsidies, you need to be bear more expenses traveling expenses, salaries, allowances, increments, and sometimes you should have to be use your money to send his spouse or partners or children and also then you have to consider about that particular expected failure, possible failure. Is that person is able to work all that particular 3 years, or is there any particular reasons to disturb that particular expectation? High failure. When the high failure rate means you may have to use your organization, your company need to be bear more cost. In here you can see paying for the expected manager indexes of cost of living abroad, paying for the expected manager cost of living indices in selected cities. You can see Tokyo, Japan is the unit pay high cost of that's around the 135, but Vietnam is less than half of that, 85 or something. And also London also 120 and etc. Actually, then you get to read this particular figure. By reading this figure, you can be understood when you have been assigned a person to work in Tokyo, Japan subsidiary, you have to think about is that person is properly matching to that particular culture. If that person is able to stay that particular 3 years or 4 years period over there. Otherwise, definitely you need to be bear more. Because you are hiring the people to get the good outcome. You are expecting to get the good performance on behalf of your organization. Because finally, your employees, all employees need to be contributed to your organizational performance or to achieve your corporate goals. Therefore, we are worrying about the human resource management. In here, you can see what are the reasons for US expected failure. Personality of the manager, lack of technical proficiency, no motivation to us. Personality already we have discussed under the organizational behaviors. Personality depending on many factors, genetical factors, or environmental factors. For example, when we are discussing the USA, they are having a their country is the number one, their language is the number one, they are the most civilian people in the world, they can be for every countries and etc. They are highly individualistic. High person, then therefore those things influence on the personality of those people. Let me sorry. Let me share one particular small PowerPoint presentation to you to get some idea about the yeah. Let me share one particular video. In here you can see actually that is dependent on cultural values. These are some cultural values between three countries. You want to guess what is the third country? Japan. Japan cultural values are very group oriented. They are belonging to the one family of the country and collectiveness, age and seniority. Actually, seniority and maturity is two things. Group agreement, cooperation, quality, patience, indirect, go between, mediate. That means when we have any issues between two persons, then usually they hire some person to intermediate this particular problem to get a solution between these two parties. I think you got that one. Go between, mediated. Actually, I also had one issue about the JICA or some organization. Then they have sent one person to discuss about that particular issue. This is the Japanese values. If you don't know these values, then you never able to develop very close and very good relationship with those people. Age senior, because Japanese management always has that. It now little change those aspects, but however, still in some major organizations are practicing this kind of thing: lifetime employment, age-based seniority system, and company-based labor union system. Group agreement. Basically, managers, top managers are taking a decision, then they pass that particular decision to the lower level employees, then lower level employees are given their own ideas how they can be, how they would like to change or they would like to develop that particular issue. Then that particular decision pass to top. Therefore, usually we can see U-shape of the decision-making pattern on those in Japanese organizations. Group agreement. In especially Japanese society based on collectivism, always they are given more priority for the group than the individual person. First, they are thinking about the organization. Actually, they call organization as uchi. Uchi means the house or the home. That's the first. Then country, then EA. EM is the employee's house or home become a third. Number one is the country, number one is the organized, number two is country, number three is the individual benefits. Like then Arab countries, you could see family security, family harmony, parental guidance, age, authority, compromise, devotion, patience, indirectness, and hospitality. These are the things, these are the values of the Arab countries. Actually, last one is for the USA. USA freedom, independence, self-reliance, equality, individualism, competition, efficiency, time, directness, and openness. Freedom, independence. Anytime your employees can say, okay, I will quit. I am not reporting to your workplace from tomorrow. Finish. And also, boss also can say, you check, you got to go out based on some reason. And also, they are having a competition like that. Therefore, you have to understand the organizational culture can be varied according to the those factors. Those factors. Then what are the reasons for US expected failure? There are actually we can be discuss three type of the factors that cause to expected failure: individual factors, family factors, or cultural factors, or social factors. Individual factors, for example, personality of the manager, lack of technical proficiency, that's a skill issue, no motivation foresight, lack of technical. He or she is unable to do job-related activity because she doesn't have enough technical skills. No motivation for assignment. And simultaneously, you can be understand what are the most important factors of the multinational organization of the US. Technical skills, your motivation, good personality, and family issues. Spouse or family members fail to adapt. Family members or spouse do not want to be there. And what are cultural factors? Manager fails to adapt. Manager fails to develop relationship with people. Because you will understand in some of the countries of the world, not much respect to the USA. Some of the countries are highly embracing USA. There are two ways. And also some of the countries are using English, but some of the countries are unable to use English. And also you got to understand, some of the people are highly concerned to develop short-term relationship. Some of the people are always concerned long-term relations. If you had an intention to develop short-term relations with the people, then you never able to get the long-term benefits of those countries. For example, Japan, Korea. Those countries are having a concern, highly long-term relationship than the short-term relationship. The person we have been assigned to work over there as the manager of our subsidiary, but he or she isn't able to develop very close relationship with those most important people who is of that particular business, you're never able to get expected outcome in that particular subject. And also organizational factors also influence on expected failure. Not actually these factors are not only for the USA, other countries, other countries expected also influenced by these factors, excessively difficult responsibilities, failure to provide cultural training, company fails to pick the right person, company fails to provide the technical support, excess of difficult responsibilities of international assignment, failure of company to consider gender equity. Gender equity also most important, but in Sri Lanka we don't have this kind of policy, gender equity policy. But however, we are saying these gender equity policies are available in the developed countries. I have noted that in Australia also you can't see this kind of gender equity policies, but USA is there. USA, you can see this kind of policies are available. Okay, then however, you got to understand the expected failure depending on many factors, individual factors, family factors, cultural, and organization. Okay, then how we can be assigned, expected for a strategic role of our business. Because you are going to be assigned a person from your home country to work in your subsidiary as a CEO, chief executive, or as a production top for the top one of the top positions. Then definitely you need to help that particular managers to acquire international skills. What does it mean by international skills? Not only that is discussion about the language, but you get to give them a training or idea or the opinion about the cultural things and some kinds of habits, and there are many things you need to be teach your employees. International languages, other than the technical skills. Therefore, when we are discussing the training programs, we are saying that when we are hiring a person from home country, then we need to pay more attention on cultural issues rather than the technical issues, technical skills. Because we can be identified our expected technical skills very clearly. Because he or she is working in our head office. But we should have to be provide good training about that particular culture, particular country's habit, and etc. Helps coordinate and control operation distress activity. Head office need to be support or need to coordinate some activities of that particular country, particular subject. Communication of local needs, strategic information to headquarters. That is the one of the role need to be played by that particular expected manager. You have been assigned to work in that particular country. country subsidiary, then you are represented your parent country or your mother country, mother company. Then you need to be shared your ideas, what and that particular needs of that particular countries to your headquarters. And also you need to get good knowledge about the local market because you are trying to sell your goods in that particular local market. Therefore, you need to understand most of the conditions relating to those markets. Provide important network. You will to give some information to your headquarters to what type of relationship need to be developed in that particular country, who are the people, how, which way we can be develop the relationship with those people. For international card or global card, we can create a separate group of expected managers who specialize in the carry of international assignment. That means this is we didn't discuss before. Definitely, some organizations are having some international card separate. They are assigning for a permanent international assignments to the move from international assignment to international assignment, recruited from many countries, sent to worldwide location to develop cross-culturalism. Actually, one of my friends' son is working in that kind of the company. He or he is working under this kind of the international card. Time to time, they are going to be assigned to foreign countries. They should have to be stay around 3, 4, 6 months over there. Then once they have finished that particular product, they are returned to home country. Again, they are going to be assigned to the next assignment in the foreign country after a few weeks. Like, and also, just before I explain about that, some expected we are assigned for a very short term period. We use different words as a fixed periods. The frequent flyers, you can be understand what type of person we are discussing about this particular what kind of the employee, what kind of the employee we are discussing under this one, frequent flyer. Continuously, frequently, he or she is flying to one country to another country, who travel on short notice for short time duration while maintaining their family and personal lives at the home country. They never took, they never took their spouse or the children with them. Short-term visits. Continually, they are doing that kind of short visits. What are the key functions? Sent to explore markets, consider problem areas in the foreign subsidy, manage projects, help with transfer of technology. If you have been started your production factory in that particular country, foreign country, then you need to be transfer that particular technological knowledge to employees who is working in that particular subsidiary. Then you can be assigned that particular technology manager or the production manager for a short time period to over there. Or sometimes you may have some issues about the HRM. Then you can be send your HR managers to that particular subsidiary to work for a short time period, like that. That is, however, based on how many branches you are having, how many branches you are having. Based on that, we can be assigned. Based on that, we can be assigned the person to work on those issues or problems of those subsidiaries continuously, frequent flyer. By having this kind of the flex factories, actually there may be advantages. Do not experience many of the family and personal difficulties and stress associated with expected side. Because when we have assigned, when we need to assign a person as an expected, that's more than a 1 year period, then definitely he or she may travel with spouse and kids or children. But in this kind of the expected system or short-term expected system, uh, not need to take kids or wife or spouse to partners to those countries. And also much less expensive than expected because we are not going to be relocated this kind of the short-term expected because they are going to work for only 1 week period or 2 weeks period. Then we can be arranged hotels or some kind of the apartment. They can be live in there. They can be live in there and do the work. For example, in some universities in Sri Lanka, for example, Trincomalee University, they are having this kind of the place in Colombo. They already rented out that particular place. When their lecturers are coming to Colombo, they can be stay over that particular apartment, particular home. Okay, like. However, what are the disadvantages of this flex expatriate taxation issues can become complicated if the assignment exceeds 6 months. Because when anyone is, that's however that's based on the tax regulations. For example, in some countries, when one person is living more than 1 year period, more than 6 months period outside of that home country, then they don't need to pay tax to the his home country or that particular tax office. Like that, based on that regulation, we can be calculated how much they need to pay as a tax. But however, there may be some difficulties. Sometimes the other countries may have a different laws and regulations. Even you have been work for 3 months, you should have to be paid some portion of the taxes to that particular government or particular country. So, and also when we are assigning these people to for a very short term period, they are unable to develop very close or good relationship with that particular local people. So they are unable to adapt to adjust to that particular local environment. And also they don't know, they are unable to learn how to adapt to that particular local conditions, local requirements. Because we are going to be assigned those people to 2 3 weeks or less than 1 month period. Within that particular period, they may be attended. They may be attended only that particular issue, particular problem, particular task. Then they don't have enough time to think about these kind of issues. They may be resented for neglect in the host country culture. May be resented for neglect in the host country. Because they don't know, they don't have any good knowledge about the host culture, host country culture. Therefore, they may create some unnecessary issues, unnecessary problems in that particular host country. Because we are not going to be assigned those people to longer period, only very short period. Therefore, we don't worry about that particular awareness of that particular country's culture, particular country's political situation, the next one. Like that. Then key success factors for expatriate assignment. Actually, we have discussed this one: technical and managerial skills, personal traits, relational abilities, family situation, international motivation, stress tolerance, language ability, emotional intelligence. These are the most important success factors of the expatriate. The most important success factors for our expatriate. For example, I don't need to explain these things, man. For example, technical and managerial skills. For example, when you expect this having this kind of the knowledge, they can be get a good outcome over there, like that. Uh, and also personal traits. Already we have learned these things. Okay, relational abilities, because some people are actually unable to develop relationship with other people. Already that is sometimes it line with the personality. Uh, for example, we have already we have learned about extroverted people, introverted people. Most of the introverted people not much like to develop relationship with other people. They are not much talking about their self or other things like that. Family situation or like this type of the factors you get to understand influence on success of the expatriate. If the family situation, the spouse and children are happy on that particular foreign environment or foreign the situation they should have to be faced over there, then expected can be worked out on what he or she need to do for their very properly like that. Okay. Uh, in here, you can see expected success factors and what type of selection methods we need to be used to identify that particular factors. Already we have learned professional and technical skills, most important to our expatriate. Under this professional and technical skills, we can be discuss technical skills, administrative skills, leadership skills, and etc. To measure this type of the technical skills, you can be conduct the interviews and also you can be use the standard test. Or you can be use biographical data or work sample and references. If you want to measure administrative skills, you can be use interviews, assessment centers, biographical data, work samples, and references. And you can be read in that way this particular chart. And also relational ability is also most important. Under his relational abilities, we need to be measured about his ability to communicate, cultural tolerance and empathy, tolerance for ambiguity. Ambiguity means it is not clear what is the goal of that particular objectives, flexibility to adapt to new behaviors and attitudes, stress adaptations skills. And also you need to be measured our expected international motivation, willingness to accept experience positions expected position, sorry, willingness to accept expected position, interest in culture of assignment location, commitment to international mission, fit with career devel development stage, career development, career development. Family situation, spouse willingness to develop, spouse relational ability, spouse career goals, children's educational requirement, language skills, ability to communicate in local language. These are the most important success factors of your experiment. Please remember these things. Professional and technical, his relational abilities, because he or she needs to be developed good relationship with people, internal people or outside people of the organization. That is dependent on many factors. Communication, cultural tolerance, step adaptation, and also international motivation is that person is having a good willingness to move out from home country to that particular host country. Is that person is good willingness to accept new positions, new responsibilities, and that particular location. He or she is able to develop his career under that particular side. Family situation, spouse and children with. They are able to tolerate that particular uh, cultural issues over there. Educational requirements, language skills, or those not only expected, the family members and the spouse, the partners also able to use that particular language. So, otherwise, they are unable to develop good relationship over there. But however, in some countries, not always help to develop good relationship uh, by having a good knowledge on that knowledge about that particular country's language. Actually, that is my experience. When you have a good, when you have a very small child, most of the countries would like to develop. So easily you may able to develop the close relations with the local people. So they are everywhere. All human beings are like small kids. Then definitely you may able to develop close relationship with the local people. But if you are having a good language knowledge, then you can be strong, strong that particular relations through the language. If you have good knowledge about the cultural factors or cultural things about that particular culture, then again you can be develop more and more relationship with those people. Because the rituals or the things in day-to-day life is different between the countries. For example, let me share one example. Japan. Uh, Actually, in Japan, when their father, mother, other relations are died, then they burn, and then they will take a one small, how we can say, bone, small piece of bone to home, and that will kept, actually that will keep uh, in the house. Is actually they are believing that all dead people going to be heaven. එකම කියන්නේ මේ මැරෙන හැමෝම නිකන් දිව්‍ය ලෝකෙ. එහෙම නැත්නම් සමහර කියන බෝධිසත්වයෝ ඇටිට ඉපදෙනවා. So therefore they are going to be respected that people by bringing a very small part of the bone and keep that particular bone in the house. It's like our name Buddha, they are keeping that one. And every morning, every evening, they are respecting to that particular small bone. And also, and sometimes they are keeping foods, and if that particular person is like drinks alcohol, then they are for that particular alcohol also they are respecting. Then if you have no that particular issue, easily you can be develop the relationship with that particular people. They are highly appreciated that kind of things. Okay, not only in Japan, in other countries also having this kind of rituals or some kind of practices, social practice. By developing those kind of, by knowing those kind of practices, easily you may be able to develop the close relationship with those people. That also most important. And also we can be measure, we can be evaluate that particular expected successfulness by considering some other factors. For example, assignment length. How many years he or she is going to be work for? What type of technical and professional skills are most important to that particular position? And is that particular culture is very similar with us, or is there any big differences between us, our culture and that particular culture? And also all positions of that particular subsidiary doesn't need to develop very close relationship with the local people. Not much. For example, if you are going to be work as a quality controller, quality manager, sometimes you don't need to develop relationship with the local people like a HR manager or the chief executive officer. Job complexities and responsibilities. Based on these kind of things, you get to understand what type of factors influence on his or her job success. when you are going to be select, when you are going to select any expertise, we were to consider about these factors as we have discussed before: professional and technical skills, relational abilities, international motivation, family situation, language skills. If that particular cultural similarity is high, language skills is more. Language skill needed of language skills is high. If that particular job tasks are more complex and that particular job is having a more responsibilities, then language skills is neutral, not much needed. You got to think about family situation. If we are going to be work more than 3 years or 4 years period, then family situation you need to be considered as a you need to consider as a most important factor. If that particular culture is different, then you would think about that particular factor is highly like that. Okay. Therefore, when we are going to be selecting any experience, you will to consider these factors are most important to our expected success. Therefore, you will to measure, you will to evaluate those factors to be higher your expected. Training and development, we have discussed that one also. Cross-cultural training, increase the relational abilities of future expectants and their spouse and families. Training rigor, rigor means toughness of that particular training. If that particular culture is highly different than our parent country or mother country culture, then that means to be high rigorous should be rigorous should be there. That particular training program need to be more rigorous. Extend to effort by both trainers and trainers required to prepare the trainees for expected. For example, you could think about these kind of things. Family language skills. Language skills is more highly needed. Then your language training program need to be more tough. Toughness is there. Rigorous is there. Give more attention, give more details, give more continuous training to those people. Because that is most important factor to successfulness of that particular success, to get success or to get a good outcome over there. Then, however, low rigor training is needed for short-term period. You can be use lectures and videos on local cultures, briefing on company operations. And then high rigor training is you need to be conduct that particular training programs over than 1 month. And also you will to provide more experiential learning. You will to give more extensive language training. And also you need to be develop how to create more relationship with the host country people. Then we can be discuss that type of the training programs, high rigor training. Especially high rigor training needed for the person who has been assigned for a more than 1 year period. In here, you can see what are the most important building blocks of cross-cultural training. There are training rigor or toughness of the training. We can be see high, middle, and low. Then actually we have learned these things before. When we are providing any low toughness or low rigorous training programs, you can be use the techniques as a from lectures, video tests, reading background material, and etc. Actually, the objectives of this type of training is providing background information about those country, business and national cultures, basic information on company operation. Actually, the particular country's culture is very similar or moderately similar to us, then we can be use this kind of the low or rigorous methods to give the training to our experts. Then moderately, if you need to be use some moderate uh, training programs, you can be use you can be provide intercultural operational learning exercise, role play, simulation, case studies, survival language training, etc. And objectives to build general and specific knowledge of host country, culture, reduce ethnocentrism, reduce ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism means what? You are highly focusing on about your own culture, about your own country people or practices, and that is we call ethnocentrism. You are thinking my ethnic background or my ethnic is the number one or some kind of things. The ethnocentrism. And also, if you are going to be assigned a person for a short-term period, then you can be used this particular training rigorous as a law. But if you are going to be hired, assigned that person for a long-term period, then you need to be using techniques to give that particular training by providing field trips to the host country, meeting its managers' experience of the host country, meeting its host country national, intensive language training. What are the objectives by providing this type of training, high rigorous training, develop comfort with host country national culture, business culture, and social institutions. Actually, we have learned this particular uh, rigorousness of the training program by using one particular model, and you can be you can be read that particular model, then you can be understood what is that particular model. You will be able to record Mendel model or Odoo model or like that. Then, these are the some training models developed by Mendel Hall, Timber, and Odoo, cross-cultural training. Uh, However, uh, the information, what type of information we need to be provided, can be varied according to the length of training or level of rigorous level. If you are providing the level of rigorous is low, or then you are going to be assigned that person for a less than a week period, then we can be use this low techniques. Because we need to be give very brief introduction about the culture or the country, and also yeah, we don't need to worry about the long-term relationship he or she need to be developed. Basically, you need to provide basic language knowledge to them, like that. But in the moderate level, actually you need to be use the effective approach. Effective approach is you will provide some intercultural experience in learning and role through the role playing and but you need to be provide the high rigorous because he or she is going to be work over there